Hi, this video is going to show you how to use the Bivariate Smoother and some ins and outs of it. That's on this button right here in Chapter 6, so I'm going to click on the button. That then activates the description box that describes the program in depth and gives you instructions for it. I won't go through that. This is going to use raw data, so I want to open up the file that I'm going to be using to see the variables in it. So I'm going to hit Choose File. And I'm going to navigate to where I have the database. I'm going to use this particular one. That shows the variables in the data file, which is very important because I have to copy those in a case-sensitive way to the input here. I'm going to go ahead and input here where the data file is located and its name. Sometimes if the name's long or if I forget it, I can just look down here and get the name of the file there. But the program's going to need this to read in the data. The name of the X variable I'll use for the scatter plot is MQ, a mediator, and the name of the Y variable will be YQ, a outcome. I'm going to click Register Input. And then this is the syntax that gets generated to do the analysis. I'm going to copy that to the clipboard. Most programs I can run on the web server, but this one I can't because I'm reading in raw data. So I have to open up R and use my own version of R for it. So I'm going to open up R. And then I'm going to use Control V to paste that. And it runs, and here's the smoother here. There's the mediator and there's the outcome. And I can see from this smoother that the relationship is basically linear, but there is some curvilinearity in it. I might want to do a quadratic regression to capture this curvature if I judge it to be important. One of the things you have to be careful with graphs is that if you change the size of them, like if I make this much shorter, or much less wide, then the curvature looks more dramatic. And if I drag it way out, the curvature doesn't look as dramatic. You need to be a little bit careful that way and take a look at the values on the axes and see what's going on like that. Another nice feature that I like that I use is that if I right click on this, I can copy it as a bitmap file, and then I can open a graphics program and do editing on it. So there's a Microsoft Paint is a common program used by Microsoft, and if I start that and I hit Control V to paste it, it appears there. And I can move it a little bit over here, and now I can edit this within this program. So I'm going to zoom in a little, make it a little bigger. I'll illustrate a few things here. If I wanted to, I can, if I go back to home, I can select the title here and hit delete to get rid of it. I can click on an alphanumeric to add text. I can change the font and the size if I want. If I select this, I can rotate it and rotate it to the left, and then I can move it over and put that there. If I want to, I can erase these outer lines. I can use the eraser to do that, or I can just use the select and then hit the delete key, and that all goes away. And I could do this one also. Then if I want to, I can select the whole thing, hit copy. I can open up Word and I can paste it into Word. I won't do that for you now, but you can just copy and paste and then resize within your word processor also. Okay, so I'm going to close that. and I'll close this. Another thing I like to do sometimes, and I'll show you this really quickly, is to test for linearity this way and to assure that I have linearity. So I'm going to click on the Bivariate Smoother again to kind of clear out the input box. I'm going to open up a different file called temp.dat. I'll input that file, and I'm going to, my x variable is going to be pskills2, and my y variable is going to be cr3. Again, it's case sensitive, so I want to respect that. This particular option here makes a small n adjustment in the smooth. If your n is less than 40, then you'll want to use that. This is an option to let you show scatter or not show scatter on the plot. That's described in the description box, but if you forget, if you hit the toggle here to show or hide options, that will remind you. The small n adjustment, 1 is yes, 2 is no. Show scatter, 1 is yes, 2 or no. And I can click it again and get rid of it. So then I'm going to hit register input. That'll generate the syntax. I'll copy that to the clipboard. I'll start R. I'll paste it. And this is the smooth. Now you can see this smooth is essentially linear, and this makes me feel more confident that as I assume a linear relationship between these variables, that that's a very reasonable assumption. So sometimes I use it to double check on linearity. You want to be careful about overfitting curvilinearity. I discuss that in my book. Okay, I'm going to close this out. Come back to the top, and that's it. Thank you very much.